This is Yerushalmi Peah Daf Mem Beis in the Art Scroll Oz V'Harder edition, which corresponds in the Vilna edition to Kafei and Aleph, I believe. It says at the top of the page in the Art Scroll. Yes. So we got yesterday to the we started the Sli of Hefker based on Hefker, but let's start again from Amalei Rabbi Yasa, which is the second line in the Art Scroll, and Amalei Rabbi Yossi, which is the parallel, and the third line in the Vilna. Amalei Rabbi Yossi Shemanu Shu Patim in Amaisus Dibra Kol. We heard that Hefker is Patim in Amaisus according to everybody. Mishum Knas, because of a Knas, Hefker based in Hefker. So the Ritbaz says Tafil Beisil Modu Hacha the Push Patim Answers Shum Hefker based in Yafil Mikra V'Chol Asher V'Gomer. So since we are removing it from him, we're mafkir the Baal Boss's grain because he collected inappropriately. So therefore, it's hefker and it's parts of minimises. The Chesiv says b'chol how do you hefker based on hefker? The Chesiv chol shelo yavo shlosh yamim. Anybody doesn't come for 3 days when has to summon them. Batzasa sri mazkein based on the council of the officers and the elders. Yecharam kol rechusho, all his property will be seized. Uminayin shepatim minimises. Okay, as we see hefker based on hefker, they can seize your property. How do we know that's part of the Meises? So Rabbi Yonasan Brei Rabbi Yitzchak Barach Hashem Al Minado. Live from here. Ein Mari Mesasha. Very interesting limud. It's also in the Bavli in Sanhedrin. Ein Mari Mesasha Lo B'Shis Lo Motzoi Shvis. Oh, but I don't know if there's about Hefker based on Hefker. Ein Mari Mesasha Lo B'Shis Lo Motzoi Shvis. You don't make an Ibor Shona not during Shemitah, not Motzoi Shemitah, so as not to extend the time before the Karmel Omer, and so people will be another month without. With a short supply of crops till they can eat from the spring grain. And if they did made Shemitah or Motzei Shemitah Mubar, it is Mubar. It is at a leap month, it's valid. Now it says Gemara, okay, that's the quote from Sanhedrin. Now Gemara and Shkolim also. Now Gemara asks V'chodesh Echad Shumosi V'Apotim in Amaisus. The extra month which you had is not exempt from Maisus. Right, and it must be that since Basin has the right to, when Basin makes an enactment and Basin is operative as a result. In other words, it took away from you here probably the extra month, so there it's part of it in Maisus. The Ritbaz says even they inappropriately made an extra month. It is a Libor year. But and also extra month also is the halach shmita. The koch basin you have to maisus. Basin has capacity to exempt from maisus. After ain't the rak knas, even though it's only a knas based in potim in a maisus after base hillel. It's part of the maisus imkoy base hillel. That's the Rash and the Shno Selio. He does say Avgav lo dam shvius lahasam ha'ifkir based in chol ha'elam. Says okay, there's some technical distinctions, but it's the bottom line is that it's similar enough. It says more further. Akdun shvius. Okay, so we see that during Shemitah, it's part of a Meiser. They made it. They made it an extra month, right? Well, actually, I'm sorry. Akdun shvius. Sorry, never mind. Akdun shvius means that it's okay. I understand we don't make the Shemitah year longer because it's very inconvenient. Motzei shvius mean why should we? What's the problem making Motzei shvius also a year? I already mentioned the answer the Gemara gives, which is that. Rabbi Tamar. I skipped. Sorry. Rabbi Avun Shlo Ros B'Isur Chodesh. We don't want to make the Isur of Chodesh extend longer than it has to because people are going to want to get a hold of that grain as soon as possible. Now Rabbi Ziv Sherivo said, "Hadad tey much to Rabbi Levi lo yarg mechutz." That's when the thing was in short supply because Rabbi did not allow one to bring vegetables before Rabbi. You were not allowed to bring vegetables during Shemitah from chutz laretz. Avo mishita Rabbi Levi yarg shvius mechutz laretz, as we shall learn again in Masechah Shvius. Once he permitted people to bring vegetables from chutz laretz, even during Shemitah. So then Shemitah also has no hardship in extending it. In fact, this past Shemitah was a leap year. The we don't it's again we're going back to the issue of not making an Ibri during Shemitah, and we're qualifying it. So it says here, that was originally when the years were appropriate. The Pnei Moshe changed it to Ketiknon, doesn't really make a difference. But Bishat Fuava Peros Bisman, things ripen and both the grain and the fruit at its proper time. So they weren't makbin on Shemitah Motzoi Shemitah time with them because you were able to bring Yarek for Chutzlaritz. But now the way Moshe is learning it, we went back. Now the years are not proper. Sometimes the grain and the produce is delayed. Oh no, that's correct. Yeah, no, sorry. I was right the first time. That there's no specific, precise prognosis of when anything is going to ripen. So therefore, and we do make it leap year as necessary by the calendar. In the Brisa, the Shabbat and in fact, we learned that in the house of Rav Gamliel, in the times of Gamliel, they made an Asarei from Rosh Hashanah time, that they're making a Shemitah, extra month in Motzai Shemitah. Used to be announced always on Hoshana Rabbah in Eretz Yisrael on Har HaZeisim. What would be the kiyos for the coming year? Okay, so I guess that's when they did it. In Minada, if it's from doing it for leap years, can't derive anything from that. Why? Because it's actually Doraisa, basically even special Kach Doraisa over the calendar, which is Shmoros Chodesh Aviv, to preserve the month of spring. Shomrei She'avo B'Chidusho, preserve the month of spring, that it should, the Nisan, that it should come in the first part of the month. But Moshe says, Rabbi Avin, Rabbi Avin Madchil Ma'aser Rayim the Hefker Basin Potman Amaisis me Ibor Shna Shmash Shvis. He rejects the proof from Shmash Shvis. Comment says Ein me Imen Adol Les Shmam Naklum, but they can't derive anything. Shani Osam Diesh Le Ibor Ashana Remez Mina Torah. There is actually a base in Torah. The Shishom is Chodesh Aviv. Shamrei Ad Shiyav B'Chidush Shum Chodesh Shum Chodesh. That this month should be in the spring. I believe there was an opinion that Chidusha, the Chodesh, means it's supposed to happen the first part of the month, but that's already it's a complicated issue. But according to the Julian calendar, by which we can reckon seasons in halacha, it's very often spring doesn't occur until the second part of the month of Nisan. Maybe it's only here where they have the authorization, but not elsewhere. So how do we know that Hefker Base and Hefker is Patras and Mitzvahs? What tells us this? Our Mishnah, which says goes to name and it's part for Mitzvahs. So it's not a source, an earlier source, but it is that is we see from the Mishnah that's the halacha. Raimanu Shem and Shimon said the Beis Shamayu. This is we're going back to the top was Rabbi. Previously was Rabbi Imi. Here it's Rabbi. Gemara, right? They must say Mishim Lakesh Beis Shammai. Our mission is Beis Shammai. The Yerushalmi Hefker Aniyim Hefker. That it says Hefker for Aniyim is Hefker. Baranka Beis Hillel. Aniyim Masim. The poor people have to meiser. There is no Hefker. Poor people have to meiser because Hefker Aniyim is not Hefker. And then again, Amalei Rabbi Yossi, like we had up top, Rabbi Yossi. Shamanu should put him in a meiser. We heard this part of it no matter who you hold like. Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, Mishum Knas, because of the Knas involved. So we don't have a source explicitly in the Torah at this point. The Kabbalaki has some insight on this. No, the same thing we learned from the Mishnah. So we have to say there's a Masorah that when Hefker based on Hefker takes away ownership, that it's part of the Meisers. Rabbi Zera, Rabbi Avo, B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan. Our Bas Kabin Lakur says the Bnei Moshe. Lefarish Diva Rosh Gamliel was according to explain Rosh Gamliel said in our Mishnah. To give the name Kedei Nefila, that the Shir Kedei Nefila is Arba Kaim Lakur, 4 kav out of every core. Rabbi Zera Boy Kumi Rabbi Avo, Arba is coming Lakur, it's 4 kav per core of harvest, or Arba is coming the base core, or it's 4 kav for an area of base core, not according to the volume of the harvest, according to the area of the field. The base core, said according to the area of the field. Talmud we went over them. Rabbi Yehuda, we said makitzba b'kri. What is the measure in a pile? Says Bnei Moshe, somebody who receives a friend from his field is a sharecropper. It didn't produce anything. There's enough to make a pile. The sharecropper still has to deal with it. I'm Rabbi Yehuda said, what piles can come in any size. And Yeshba Kedei Nefila, rather than asking Nefila. How much would fall down, you would spill in order to plant the area. And produce enough grain you could plant for next year. You have to deal with it. So since the Kedei Nefila is going on the grain, not on the area. When grain you could grow in the area. Here it says it's going on the area Bitmiya, right? The fire score base score zera. It seems here we're going base saying it's a base score. Then the feeling my shortly pub there zero. It should be like it is over there, whatever falls at the time of the harvest, right? Which has to do with the volume, because Rabbi doesn't like variable volume, so therefore he says it's a specific volume measure. But just to extrapolate that, we're talking about from a specific volume measure, a base of a core, and that's just what it says. Finishes up. And the Gemara does not resolve this question. And so we go on to halacha base. But we're not going to go on to halacha base tonight because we are already on Mem Gimel Amud Aleph.